Happy I Love Yarn Day! It's nap time, so we might get interrupted by kids at some point, but I thought that it would be fun to celebrate I Love Yarn Day by hand painting some yarn. So I figured I would pop on and do that. Today, I want to hand paint yarn with some of my favorite food coloring colors. Wilton's Violet yarn, Wilton's Black food coloring, and a new favorite, Royal Blue. So to start out, I want to mix up my dyes. And I'm planning to mix a half teaspoon of food coloring into 2/3 cup of water for each color. Ugh. This one might, well, okay, I don't think I'm going to have quite enough violet. But it'll be pretty close, I think. Because we are about done with this container. Yay! But I thought that hand painting with these would be fun because we could see some like breaking in little sections, and I really like these colors. Okay, so this is a little less than a half teaspoon of the violet. Too bad I used the best measuring spoon in this one. Normally, I don't go back into the icing color container with my measuring utensil, but since, you know, I'm going to throw that one out, I figured it would be okay. All right, next we're going to mix the Royal Blue. And hopefully this guy will fit. Yeah. Okay. We've got, it's pretty globular, but we've got approximately half a teaspoon here. So the yarns that I'm going to use today are Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted weight, 100% wool yarn, 100 grams. And I'm also going to use the Knit Picks Stroll Bear yarn. Oh, you're waiting for your first Knit Picks order to dye bear yarn? That's really, really exciting. I really like using Knit Picks because you can buy individual skeins of yarn in addition to buying in bulk. And so some other places that have some really nice yarns, you can only buy the yarns in packs of 20 skeins, which is a lot for a beginning dyer. All right, but yeah, so one of the skeins that we're gonna dye today is the sock yarn. So it's superwash, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And yeah, you guys can see why I wear gloves when I do this. I'm gonna just rinse off real quick. Oh no, I totally got black food coloring and like shot off the glove onto my arm. Oh well. That happens. Okay, so I have pre-soaked the yarns in here. Let's move our dyes back and I'll bring the yarns up. I've pre-soaked them in water with 3 tablespoons of white vinegar. When you're dyeing yarn with food coloring, you need a few things. You need the food coloring, which we've got here from the Wilton's Icing Colors. You need heat, for which we'll use the microwave to heat the yarn after we've painted it. And you need a protein-based fiber. Oh, and you need acid. And so when we dye with Kool-Aid, the Kool-Aid packets contain citric acid already. So you don't need to add any additional vinegar for the colors to set. But adding the vinegar to the yarn will help us as we are gonna dye this yarn. All right, so they've pre-soaked for maybe an hour or so. I don't think a lot longer than that. And I'm using my handy dandy salad spinner to help remove as much of the water as possible. Because if your yarn starts off with too much liquid in absorbed into the fibers, then that'll be harder for us to add the food coloring. Yeah, so, ooh, okay, that sound is not the most pleasant. But, yeah, and I don't use my salad spinner that much for actual lettuce, but I'm now using it all the time for yarn. Because it's just the easiest and gentlest way to remove the excess water. Sometimes, and I've done this in the past, sometimes you might choose to add the vinegar directly to your dyes, but I personally prefer to, I think, add it to the yarn because then you don't risk having anything crush out. And oh, there's a little bit of a grape stem in the yarn. Okay. All right, so this is the worsted weight 100% wool, and this is the sock yarn. And really, to do this properly, you should probably add some more ties to the skeins so you don't end up with a tangled mess. I tend to do this to be a little cavalier when it comes to that and a little bit lazy. So yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how many kitchen tools come in amazing for the crafts. And so I said at the beginning, but we're going to hand paint this yarn using 3 different Wilton's icing colors, and they're all ones that we've seen break beautifully. So I'm really excited to play with them on these yarns. And we're using Wilton's Violet, Wilton's Black, and that's the new formulation of Wilton's Black. And we're using Royal Blue, which if you saw my last live dyeing video, you might remember that we got some really, really awesome colors. Yes, honey? Okay. Let me know when you're done. So we might have a brief interruption, but I don't know if you could hear that. But I might have to go help my kid for a minute, but we'll see. This is the problem with going live during nap time. Normally I wait for them to be at school. Oh dear. Okay. So I'm probably going to do a combination of pouring the dyes onto the fiber and then using these foam brushes to apply it. I've been... What, Lucas? Honey, mommy's doing a video right now. Can you go back to rest time? Okay, go potty and then go back to rest time. Oh gosh. This is embarrassing. All right, anyway, I am gonna use a combination of the foam brushes and then probably pouring. And I think, ooh, maybe I'll start with the black. What order am I going to want to do these in? Maybe I'll do black. All right, honey. I am really sorry, guys. I need to be right back to help my son real quick. But let's see. Keep an eye and see if any of the black starts breaking while I come straight back. Oh, honey, I'll get your balloon after nap. Sorry, guys. I knew that was going to happen, but we tried to take the kids to the playground earlier today, but then it started raining. And so I was like, all right, I guess I'll have to wait until nap time. And now my hands are wet, so I'm having trouble getting my glove back on. yeah, so, all right, so yeah, we added just a tiny amount of the black, and ooh, I do see a bit of the blue starting to peek out, but I'm curious just from that brief, yeah, I'm a little curious to see how differently the colors look on these different yarns. I don't think I've used Wilton side by side on these fibers before. But I've been really enjoying, ooh, actually this is kind of fun. Actually, like, whoa. All right, I'm gonna need to play with that more. Literally painting across with the foam brushes looks really cool. Oh man. Okay, but that's something I'll play with more on another date. But look at this. Oh, you can't really see. So in the nylon yarn, you can start to see this really bright blue around the edges. And that's way more pronounced than what we see in the 100% wool yarn. I have ordered some super wash yarn that's equivalent to this worsted weight yarn, so that way I can do a full comparison there. But, ooh, interesting. I was curious how much this would show up. I think I'm going to go to pouring in a minute, but I wanted to at least see what we see from just having little bits of these colors on the yarn. But yeah, this nylon takes up the color so well. I mean, with the violet, can you guys see? I'm not sure, but the breaking in the violet is showing up straight away. Now I wonder, yeah, I'm gonna need to like play with actually painting with this at some point. So I think that would be really cool. Yeah, and the royal blue kind of splits into two different shades of blue, but with like a hint of purple. Okay, so it's really the black that, ooh, look how extreme the violet has gotten over there. That's cool. All right. Oh, I'm having fun. Okay, so I'm gonna step back from the brush a bit since I'm doing these bigger patches of color. Oh well, I was gonna do something slightly different, but I'm gonna just pour some of the color onto the fiber and then kind of massage it through with my hands. And anecdotally, I have found that with the wool, that the colors bind significantly faster to the sock yarn than to the 100% wool yarn. So I'm curious how deep this goes into these sections. Okay, I am getting all the way through with some patches of lighter color. Yeah, and if you haven't checked it out already, I am doing a Kickstarter campaign right now to help fund the materials for more awesome dyeing videos. The link is in the video description and also at the very top of the comments. Yeah, so I'm just pouring some of the dye on. But I think it's also kind of interesting how different the colors look, even with it's the same shade of food coloring. Wow, look at this breaking right here. Yeah, so I think that it'll end up looking more burgundy-ish. I will show like close-ups of the yarn, I think, before I start microwaving it. But this break, I think even like zoomed out, you can see the extremeness of the breaking on the, and we've got all these white patches. It just binds even without, oh no, I guess the other example that I have that hasn't been released yet, that will, that had citric acid in it, but it's just, I found that the colors bind almost immediately to the wool blend, and it takes a bit longer with the 100% wool yarn. Which is funny because a lot of times with other colors you can kind of squeeze to move through, and if you add acid later on, then sometimes you have a little more chance to move things. But even without heat, the reds strike so fast. Yeah, so if I squeeze it, I guess maybe you can't really tell, but there's blue that comes out, and so you can kind of push that through these white sections, but the red has already struck in pretty much both cases. Yeah, I'm really excited to see if it's the nylon or if it is more about the if it has more to do with the nylon content or the superwash treatment, because I've heard both ways. So this royal blue also has red number 3 in it, and it's pretty subtle overall because but you do, in the dip dyeing with the red concentrated on one end, you do get a purplish tinge. So that was pretty fun. And actually, where I just poured it, we do actually have some deeper, almost purple sections. I kind of wish I started with a bit more water. But yeah, I'm excited for how mottled these are going to be. And it does almost look like a true black in the center, but I promise it will probably not look that way in the end. I would love to get a true black out of food coloring, but the closest I have gotten is a very, very deep maroon. Yeah, and then if you don't, sometimes people ask me about lack of microwave access. If you don't have access to a microwave, then you can't, then you can always steam this in a steamer pot, and so that should work very well. Yeah. But if you didn't notice, I do have my work surface protected with plastic wrap. And maybe I need to get myself an apron or something. But so the work surface is protected with plastic wrap, so that way I do not add food coloring to the counter. Not that it would cause that big of an issue, but yeah. Oh, the colors are just, it's kind of like, you know, when you are in Instagram and you up the vibrancy, I feel like the colors end up being a lot more vibrant on the, I think this was the blue. Yeah. The colors end up being a lot more vibrant on the nylon yarn. But, ooh, we do have patches of purple because of how fast that's striking. That is awesome. I'll have to do like a recap at the end and point those out. Oh, that is so cool. There are ways that you could do to get like more even coverage, but part of the fun of hand painting is that you can really go for something that is patchier and get these like well, I guess it's not even really a semi-solid in this section. But yeah, I like the the vibrancy of it. But you can see that the color, the reds are definitely binding quicker. Yes, you can absolutely heat the yarn in the oven too to set the color. I've done, I think when I was doing silk hankies, I heated the oven to 180 degrees. So the water didn't boil, but I forget how long I did it for. It feels, if I remember, it was a rather long time. You might be able to go even hotter, but with the silk, I was really nervous because I heard that you could lose your luster if you made it too hot. So, Now I'm feeling like Lucas because he likes to go dab, dab, dab as he adds the dye. Yeah, I don't think I've hand painted actually with straight black food coloring before. I think that I've always mixed it with something to kind of make colors darker. When I do the cake dyeing experiments, I really, really like to use, add black in there because it breaks and gives a lot of fun tones. Yeah, but we'll see how deep this color ends up being. There's still some more in here, but yeah, in the nylon you could see, so the black food coloring has red number 30 in it, and red number 40, I believe. No, I have to double check. Yes, it's red 40. And the red 40 does not strike and bind quite as fast as the red number 3, which is why we get way more dramatic results when we're using food colorings that have red number 3 in them. And it's way more, ooh, there's some like clumps. That could be kind of fun. I'll have to rinse it out later, but yeah, the results are significantly more dramatic with the red number 3. As you can kind of see from these, from either end. But the black section is actually, it looks pretty consistent, which is kind of cool. Oh, I think I squeezed with black on my hand. Oh well. Yeah, but I love Yarn Day, and I think that, you know, some local yarn shops are probably also having sales or something, so there's probably a lot of fun stuff going on. Eek. All right, look how messy my hands are. I know that there's some soap that's supposed to help if you get food coloring all over yourself, or even other types of dye. So I'm definitely interested in getting my hands on some of that at some point. So since I did the same colorway, I am going to wrap these up to heat in the microwave together. If you're just tuning in, I hand painted this yarn with 3 colors of Wilton's icing color: black, royal blue, and violet. And the breaking from the royal blue and the violet is more pronounced than the black. I mean, in some spots, okay, so like in here a little bit, you can see some of the dark blue, but otherwise you mostly just see the black color, which I'm curious what the tone will look like in the end. And also, pretty anecdotally, the colors bind a lot faster to this superwash blend, superwash nylon blend. But since we use the same colors, and yeah, I am going to roll these up and microwave it together. And it's one of the reasons why using, oops, as I then take off my gloves and immediately dye my finger. It's one of the reasons why using saran wrap on your surface is handy, because then when you finish up, you can just wrap it straight up to microwave it. And I already have a microwave safe bowl to put this combo jelly roll, and I think I'm going to need more time in the microwave today. I always microwave in 2-minute intervals, and normally 4 minutes is sufficient for me to dye the yarns, 100 grams of yarn. But I currently have 200 grams of yarn in the microwave, and so that might take a bit longer. Do you guys have any questions or anything? Just checking for any questions, but yeah, the first episode of Dye Pot Weekly will come out at 8 p.m. on October 18th, and that's basically immediately after the Dye Pot Weekly Kickstarter campaign ends. The yarns that I was using today were Knit Pick Stroll Fingering, which is 25% nylon, 75% superwash merino, and then the worsted weight yarn was the Wool of Andes worsted weight yarn. Yeah, the colors are so fun. Royal Blue, I think, is something that I'm going to play with a lot more. It has, what does it have in it? Red 3, which is why we get those like breaks of color, and Blue number 1, which I believe are the exact same. Yeah, it's the exact same ingredients in Wilton's Violet, just with different proportions. Ooh, speckling the lighter side would be really, really fun. I'm glad you guys are doing this and having fun. I don't know why in my earlier videos I didn't do more dip dyeing to show the colors breaking. I did a lot of kettle dyeing to show it, colors separating. But, all right, so 2 minutes. And then we're starting to get warm, but definitely need more time. Oh, no worries. Yeah, and so we still have 4 days left in the Dye Pot Weekly Kickstarter campaign, and all of your contributions are helping fund the dye and the yarn and other materials that I need to create these fun dyeing videos. And so I've got, I think, 5 episodes of Dye Pot Weekly ready to go. And then as soon as the campaign ends, I can start filming the sponsored videos, and I've saved some experiments that I'm really, really excited for. And so I cannot wait. Oh, you bought some tie-dye from Michaels? Yeah, I like the Tulip brand tie-dye kits are ones that I've used a lot, and I've been really happy with the results. I've used them to dye both wool yarn, cotton yarn, and t-shirts. What do I do with my yarn? Well, a lot of times I will knit it up into either, I do a lot of hats for my family out of yarn that I've dyed. But right now, most of this yarn is going to be rewards for the backers of the Kickstarter campaign. My stash of yarns that I've dyed is so big and that I would never be able to knit through it. So I decided to offer yarn as a reward in exchange for you guys supporting me and backing my project. So yeah, it's gonna be, I think I'm starting to realize that I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to all these yarns that I really, really love. But I know that they're gonna go to fantastic homes and that you guys will turn them into something absolutely incredible. And so I hope you guys will share pictures of the final products, because I know that, well, I wanna see it, and I know other people would love to see it as well. Yeah, dyeing yarn is so easy. All right, so it's been 4 minutes. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 more minutes and then let it cool. But, dyeing yarn with food coloring is super simple. You do need to use a protein-based fiber to do this. So this works great on wool. I've dyed dog fur yarn. I think it would work great on alpaca. I know people use Kool-Aid to dye human hair. Not that I've used human hair yarn or anything like that, but you can, if something is protein-based, then the food coloring works great. It does not work well for cellulose-based fibers like cotton, but I guess nylon, I haven't tried dyeing 100% nylon yet, but apparently nylon does dye pretty well. I mean, you saw the the sock yarn took up dye really, really wonderfully. But let me check. Aw, thanks. I try to be fearless because even when I mess up, very rarely, like, I've never gotten a yarn that is totally ruined and unusable. Sometimes the experiment doesn't quite work out the way I expected, but usually we still get results that are really fun and beautiful, and so it makes it worth trying again or trying something slightly different to see where we get. And so that's why I started off filming back in the day, filming tutorials of things I've done before. And then I realized, hey, maybe I should share while I'm doing this for the first time, because that could be beneficial to you guys and hopefully make dyeing yarn seem less intimidating and more accessible and fun. So I have a lot of fun. But I don't, on my phone, always see the comments, so I have to come here. You've watched every video on my channel? Wow, that is some dedication. I mean, I've watched every video on my channel too, but oh, I'm glad. I mean, thank you so much for your support. Like, I really value all of the feedback that you guys give me. So many of the dyeing videos that I've done, I never would have thought to do without your encouragement. Or, you know, I think there was a point where I'd done a couple dyeing videos and I'm like, all right, that's all people need to know. But I've realized that, oh, I can do subtle tweaks and you guys still like to see what's going on. Which is why I'm gonna plug the Kickstarter campaign one more time. There's still 4 days left. You can get some yarn dyed by me, and there's even reward levels that involve hand-spun yarn, sponsorship credit on my videos, and all of these funds are gonna, you know, supply the materials for, I think, at least 6 months of weekly dyeing videos, and I am so excited to start sharing some of these experiments with you. I am going to do, a lot of the videos will involve food coloring, like our pretty yarn today, which I will not unravel, but I will pop on once the yarn is dry in a couple days to show what we got. But look at those colors within the violet. It's so pretty. Yeah, I have a lot of fun. Have I ever tried acid dyes? No, not yet, but that is one of the things that inspired me to start this Kickstarter campaign. I knew that I would need to get a second pot and some other separate tools in order to start using non-food safe acid dyes. Ooh, I should get some plastic plates or some plates that I can use for that as well. But so I'm about to place my first order for acid dyes, and I think I'm gonna do some of the basic primary colors of Jacquard dye, acid dyes, and also pick up some Dharma acid dyes that people have told me break into beautiful colors, and so I want to try that as well. Yeah, wool blend yarns will work fantastic. I started out dyeing 20% wool, 80% acrylic yarns, and you still have a lot of, like, the colors are more pastel, but they end up looking kind of heathered, and you get some really, really fun effects. But I am super, super excited to start playing with acid dyes, and because people often ask me how food coloring compares to acid dyes, and I can't really make that comparison until I've tried it. And I know that some people will even mix food coloring and the acid dyes into like one yarn, and so there's a lot of like cool combination things that we can do. The chemistry of how acid dyes bind to the yarn is very similar with the way food coloring molecules dye to the yarn. It's just, I think some of the commercial acid dyes might be a little more light fast, but I think almost any dye will fade if you leave it in sunlight for a long period of time. I wish comments would stay up. Oh, you just started your own business? That's exciting. Yeah, I think that I've toyed with the idea of actually setting up an Etsy store and selling yarns, but I realized that I have a lot more fun playing with and experimenting with colors and techniques and creating these videos for you guys. So we'll see what happens. You know, maybe I'll do like a semi-annual yarn de-stash sale or something when the amount of yarn I'm accumulating starts to get ridiculous again. But yeah, I think that because of all of your support of the Kickstarter, I am pretty much, my stash of hand-dyed yarns is going to be seriously depleted. I went and counted and I was like, oh, wow. I mean, I planned based on like how I could fulfill the rewards and stuff, but I am humbled and awed by all the support that you've shown me. And even if you can't back the Kickstarter campaign, your support in watching the videos and commenting and providing feedback is super, super valuable. And I hope to continue creating fun dyeing videos, and I look forward to learning a lot alongside you guys. So if there's not any other questions, you can always leave questions to me on the comments of the YouTube videos. I try to respond to them as quickly as I can. Make sure you subscribe to the ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel so that way you can get notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And yeah, if you want to get some ChemKnits dyed yarn, check out the Dye Pot Weekly Kickstarter campaign. The link is in the video description and I'll drop it in the chat again right now. And I will pop back on again in a couple days to show the finished yarn. Yes, I do use 100%. My microwave is not very powerful. So if your microwave is super powerful, then maybe I would do 1-minute intervals until the yarn is, you know, it's hot to touch. Like I wouldn't want to leave my hands on here for a long time. And now I have to be really patient and it'll take a couple hours for it to cool completely. And once it's cool, I will wash it in cool water with some Dawn or store brand dish soap until the water runs clear, and then I hang it up to dry. So, hey, thanks, because I forgot to say, oh, this is what we do at the end. How do I dry the yarn? I have a drying rack that just like a clothing drying rack that I use. So after I wash the yarn, thanks to a tip I got from one of you, I will put it back through the salad spinner to remove a lot of the excess water, and then I'll hang it to dry. And it usually takes a couple days to dry completely. If you don't have a salad spinner, you can use an old towel, kind of like you would if you were gonna block a sweater or something, to like roll it up in the towel to gently like wring out some of the water, and that helps things dry faster. So yeah, if there's not any other questions, then I'm Rebecca from ChemKnits, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye!